You know, the royal family are not a brand. The monarchy is not a brand. It's an institution. And it's a family. And the Duke of Edinburgh back in the 60s said something like, I've got it written down here just so I get it right. It's a misconception to imagine that the monarchy exists in the interests of the monarch. It doesn't. It exists in the interests of the people. And that is the starting point for everything that the royal family do, basically. It's all about the people, the experience they have to make it as brilliant as it possibly can be. It's a universal institution, a bit like the BBC, actually. It's for everybody.
I can remember covering the royal wedding last year, which just was a sort of huge, great machine. And I remember at one point watching them come out, kiss, get in the carriage, and then you had the sovereign's escort of household cavalry sweep them in a sort of Disney-style fashion and back into the castle. And I remember saying on air, this is the most extraordinary projection of UK PLC you could ever wish for. Because it was. You had a service that was modern but traditional. You had a gospel choir, you had Bishop Michael Curry, you had something that reflected the couple themselves but that also was, traditional. But it was unlike any other royal wedding we've ever seen before. And I remember thinking, wow, this is quite a coup for the royal family. And it did project an extraordinary image around the world. I was with William this week on Wednesday at a very small engagement at the Albert Kennedy Trust. And it was one of the most impressive displays to me, of what the royal family is for, and what you can do with that position. William was asked by young people who've been helped by the services and people having a really rough time, who've been chucked out of home just for being gay or transgender, what would you do if your children turn out to be LGBT? And William said, you know what, that would be absolutely fine with me. If any of them identifies as LGBT, that's fine with me. I would be worried about how they'd be perceived because I've heard about what you guys go through, but that would be fine. That was a massive thing for him to say. A future monarch saying that, and the impact of that, not only with the people there, but also, the story went huge. And I watched William say this, and he's very conscious of what he says and the impact that will have. And I thought, for me, that is so important. It goes to the heart of what the royal family are for.
And I look at, to get to my point, the Dutch and the Spanish royal family, what they've done recently, where a monarch has retired. In fact, the Dutch have got form on this. The Spanish have done it, I think, for slightly different reasons. But you then have a monarch coming into power, so to speak, in their 40s. They're younger, they're experienced, but they're not in their 70s as Charles is. And I think that's going to be really interesting, whether this country has that approach of saying, should a monarch retire? Should the Queen retire? Should Charles retire? The Vatican, for God's sake, has retired Pope recently, which is something I never thought I'd see. What's different about the British royal family?
The monarch can say nothing. She can jump out of a plane, pretend, at the Olympics, and that's about as camp as it gets. But she can say absolutely. And if she wears a vaguely blue outfit at the opening of Parliament, that's sort of taken as a pro-Remain symbol. But that's how every single thing she does is so electrifying that she can basically do and say nothing that can impact upon the political process. I actually think that they, particularly now, they have a role. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's totally irrational. We start here. Of course we wouldn't start here. But the idea of dismantling it or getting rid of it seems to me crazy. This was an institution that managed to survive its own version of the financial crash and the death of Diana and come back stronger. That is anti-fragility.